Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 35 of Direwolf20's Woohoo! Let's Play Satisfactory series, where I'm back at my oil power plants. And you'll notice on the right side of my screen, I planned to build, on my to-do list here, 10 fuel generators. And then I noted all the different resources that we're going to need and made sure I brought some extras just in case. So let's recap where we're at with fuel, because we absolutely need to consider that, right? So first off, we are producing, at the moment, 40 fuel per minute in each of these factories, right? So 40 fuel per minute. And we've got 5 of them going on right here. And the fuel, so that's a total of 200, just to keep your numbers in check. And then 40 of it is being used over here to package into packaged fuel, right? So that's 40 per minute going into there. So we totally have 160 fuel being produced if we subtract the 40 from the packaged fuel, which leads us with, where we're at. So over here, we've got no overclockers, and we're using 12 fuel per minute, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Is everybody not being overclocked? Why did I think I left overclockers in some of these? Didn't I leave overclockers in any of these, or no? I guess I didn't. Yeah. But wow, we're struggling on power. Yeah, like, our consumption, actually, it's dancing around consumption being above and below the threshold, but long story short, our batteries, they ain't gonna last very long, so we gotta get this going sooner than later. So if we do the math on this, a little bit more than 13 oil fuel generators are gonna be able to go, right? Because we have 160 fuel being produced. We're using 12. So 160 divided by 12 is a little bit more than 13. So we've currently got 4, which means we can build 9 more. So let's see if we can, line this up in an intelligible way. And boy, oh boy, let me talk to you guys about how much I love creative flight happening right now. Like, you have no idea how excited I am about the creative flight mechanics of this. Now then, talk to me. So, believe it or not, I think technically I shouldn't be able to build there. Here I can build, but here I shouldn't be allowed to build. But I think smart is not so smart about not allowing me to build where I shouldn't build. So we're just going to build where we're going to realistically be able to build. And you can see I'm outside my range of power here, which is why that's happening. Let's be prepared for you now. I would like you to be lined up with him. Perfect. And then 3 more of those, right? And that should be cool. I wouldn't mind. And then we're going to fall again, but that's okay. Can I sneak 1 more on here, do you think? Looks like I can, without too much issue. That should be fine. And technically, if I wanted to, I could maybe sneak 1 more in. Which seems good to me. Yes. Yes. Now, to recap, we're only producing 160 fuel here, so we only need Mark 1 pipelines. So I'm not going to worry too much about that, but what I do want to make sure we have in place first is more of these power lines going on, because we're rapidly hitting the point here, obviously, where we can't fly, and I want to be able to fly everywhere, because I'm very much addicted to creative mode flight now. Very much addicted to it. It's the best. So Mark II pole each of these guys. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to connect them up to power just yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have these kind of here and ready. Oh man, that's the best. Being able to do this in flight mode is so good. It's so good. Holy cow, where have you been my whole life? This is my first time really building with the creative mode flight thing, and I'm very much enjoying it. Like, very, very much enjoying it. So you're going to go into here, fuel, and then there, and there. And this guy should now be getting his fuel. He doesn't have a power connection, which I'm doing on purpose, because I want the fuel to back stuff in here and be nice and full, right? Sweet. So fuel's filling up. Yeah, this is the only way to build. Look at it go. How cool is that? So obviously we're not getting much fuel here just yet, but we will be soon once all the back stuffing occurs, right? And that should be good, right? I don't think there should be any problems with that, right? So just to recap, we're making 40 fuel per minute times 5, that's 200, minus 40 is 160. And hey Siri, what's 160 divided by 12?
160 divided by 12 is about 13.3333.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So technically we should be able to even run one more. So let's just do that, because why not? Like, oh boy, hold on. Ow. All the things that I did wrong there. There was a long list. There's a long list of things I did wrong there. Yeah, so I love creative mode flight. It really has kind of a short range. That's the only downside that I will call upon, is the range is really pretty short. It is very easy to find yourself falling. So, just saying. Just saying. We can clear this to-do list now, because we are, you know, we're doing fine. Huzzah, we're flying again. So yeah, one more fuel generator, and that will be, you know, where we're at. And that should be fine. And remember, fuel efficiency goes up with overclocking-ish. But we're not, I'm trying to avoid using the power shards whenever I can, because they're not incredibly rare, but they're rare. I mean, they're not, like, you know, impossibly rare, but they're not super common either, right? So it's something to be aware of. Cool. And then you're gonna go here. And then you should be getting copious amounts of fuel. Now we connect all these bad boys, and we should be good to go. How cool is that? And everybody's got a green light now? They all would appear to be green. That is cool. I'm surprised at how many fuel generators can run off of our supply of fuel here. Like, because didn't we even say that we're not even using all the oil that we're producing? Like, we're producing some oil, but we could absolutely ramp this up without any problem whatsoever. So that's pretty amazing to me. Yeah. Like, somewhere in my brain, I'm like, this can't be right. But, I mean, I guess it is. So now we have a potential production level of 3750, right? A max consumption of 4120. So technically, if all my machines were running at this moment, we wouldn't be producing enough power still. But our actual consumption is hovering around 25 to 2700 megawatts. So we're nowhere near what we're actually using in terms of power, which is good. Which is good, right? So that's cool. So now, are you... In theory, we're producing more fuel than we need, right? So this fuel should be nice and full here. is what I would expect. And that seems to be the case. And then at some point we will, it'll take a while to probably get there, but at least one of these should back stuff its fuel production, is what I would expect, right? But long story short, we should be nice and stable on power for a bit at least. At least until we get to some of the higher tier H stuff. You know, for a bit. For a bit, we'll be okay. So power is now managed, which I'm very pleased with. Yeah, no complaints there. Overall, looking really good. Yeah, that's cool. We're recharging some of our batteries, which is good. Whoosh. I'm going to take the train back home, and then what I'd like to spend today on is looking into what our next tasks are. And look at this, my train's here. How great is that? I love that. Perfect timing. All right. Getting ready to depart the station. Nice. I wonder if that whistles when you're stopped. Because there was a whistle sound for a second. Anyway, meet you back at the base. Alright, coming into our main base here. Looking good. Now I need to test this when we're stopped and see if it's a whistle. No. I have no idea how I made the whistle sound. But it's all good. How's all my stuffs doing? Not bad. Not bad. Alright, cool. So, next plan. Let's go check out what's to be upgraded, right? So, the last episode or 2 or 3, we've been working on our aluminum production, which we can see over there, right? And it's doing great. What I'd like to work on today is figuring out what's next for us. So a hazmat suit will be nice for specifically dealing with uranium and nuclear power, which is in tier 8, right? So nuclear power, we can find uranium, we can generate power from a nuclear power plant, which is awesome, by the way. We can also get advanced aluminum production. Resource well pressurizer. Yeah, that's a new machine. And I think that gets us nitrogen, scanner update water well, scanner update crude oil well, scanner update nitrogen gas well. That's cool. And then heat sinks, coolant systems, and fused modular frames are all a thing there. Cool. Leading edge production. Turbo motors, Mark III miners, and thermal propulsion rockets. And then finally, particle enrichment, I think, has something to do with taking the waste products of uranium and repurposing it in a particle collider. But I really don't know much about this. Nuclear pasta sounds delicious. Sign me up. But let's first look at aeronautical engineering, because drones are also new to me, and I have no idea how they work. So we're going to need radio control units. So let's select this milestone, right? And figure out what's what. So radio control units, what even are those? And when did I get access to them? Did I get them here? There we go. Enhances and directs radio signals. So how does one make a radio control unit? Oh, we're gonna need some crystal oscillators and computers. Oh my. Radio control units. So computers and aluminum casings are on opposite sides of the world for me. Now, I don't know if we need to automate these or not. We are reaching the point of this game that I have not yet gotten to because a lot of these were added in Update 4, right? So, do I need hundreds of these radio control units? Or, like, not? I really don't know. So I'm, like, debating if I want to go through the process of automating them right now. I'm assuming for drones we may need them. Maybe? So, I mean, it wouldn't be a terrible idea to set that up, right? And now crystal oscillators. need what? Cables and reinforced iron plates. Also things that are very far apart from each other, right? Because our quartz is coming in over there, right? That's where our quartz and aluminum are showing up. And then over here, as far away as possible, is where our computers and our reinforced iron plates are living. Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing, for sure. So we're going to have to figure out how to handle that situation, right? And our reinforced iron plates are definitely in a position to be increased at some point. We're going to have to think about this one. Just a smidgen. We're going to have to think this one through a little bit. But that's what we need to do. So automating radio control units might not be a bad idea. I just want to talk for a minute about how proud I am of this aluminum system, because look. Like, we've already backstuffed both types of aluminum. How crazy good is that? These machines are on their way to being backstuffed. They'll be there in a minute. But shortly, our entire aluminum production line will probably shut down on account of the fact that we did a pretty nice job with this thing. It is not too shabby. Anyway, enough bragging about how good I did. How am I going to manage getting from here to there? Maybe we could just use drones, right? Like, I don't know, like, how big of a footprint drones are, or, like, what's involved. Like, option one would be simply conveyor belting over there, right? Which is not a terrible option. But since drones are, like, gonna be a thing soon, and I wouldn't mind checking out how they work, maybe we do the radio control units by hand, and then we can drones it over there? I don't know. Like, first things first, I gotta figure out how drones work, because I have no idea how they work. But it might be a nice early proof of concept situation, right? So one crystal oscillator makes 2 radio control units. I'm just gonna make these by hand, so I can do the hand-in, and then we're gonna look at drones, how they work, and decide if they would be a useful way to move our quartz and stuff over there. So FYI, it looks to me like railway tracks can power your hover pack. So you can fly over railway tracks. That's something I just learned. I'm really, really digging the hover pack. It is so fun. It's the best. Alright, so in theory, if I'm not mistaken about things, I should have enough stuff now. Oh, that's right, I brought a bunch of junk home with me. To make the things I need. I brought some extra quartz things with me because I want to make sure that I've got enough of those if we need more radio control units to actually build the drones, which I assume the drones need radio control units. They may also need batteries, and we're going to deal with that, you know, when the time comes. But for now, you know, we'll be all right. Let's also get some more cables, because I used a lot of these in making my radio control units. There we go. Cool. Yeah, no, huge fan of the Creative Flight. It's so cool. Hover pack for the win. It's just, it feels good, too. That's one of the things I really like about this game, is like, some games, I don't even know how to describe this, their movement mechanics feel clunky. This game, very much not the case, right? So now we should be pretty close on what I need to do here, right? We're going to need more of these guys. But yeah, we should have more than enough stuff for radio control units. So back in a minute once I have all 60 of these crafted. Alright, so if I'm not mistaken, which I may be, but if I'm not, then I should now be good to hand in aeronautical engineering and figure out how drones work. I'm excited. Let's do it. Sweet. I mathed it out correctly. Hooray! Milestone unlocked. What do you got for me, Ada?
Milestone reached. Aerial transport of resources is now possible with the use of drones, ideal for shipping across long distances or difficult terrain. Ensure the presence of batteries at drone ports for optimal results. A new project part enables progress to the next phase.
Yeah, but there is no next phase, Ada. There is no next phase. So drones, it looks like, are going to need an assembly director system. We're going to need batteries. We're going to need sulfuric acid. And we're going to need supercomputers. That's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. Assembly director system. This is project part number 6. So drones and drone ports. Drone ports can have one other port assigned as their transfer destination. Each drone port can contain a single drone, which transports available input back and forth between its home and destination ports. The drone port interface provides delivery details and allows management of port connections. Cool. Should we try building one? I think we should. Just to understand how it works, because like I've said, I have no idea how this works. So I'm very interested to try it out. So the drone port, we're going to want 2 of these, right? And then we're going to want a drone. So let me add that to my to-do list. So basically we need some high-speed connectors. And a portable miner of all things. Okay, cool. I don't think high-speed connectors I have on my autocraft list, do I? We just need some... Probably a lot of quick wire. Probably a lot of quick wire is probably what I don't have enough of. And then a portable miner won't be a big deal. Yeah, let me get all this stuff. I'll be right back. Alright, so, like I said, no idea how this is going to work. Apparently it needs batteries, which we're going to have to figure out how to make. I assume they're a complex process. Let's start with looking at batteries, because I assume that's going to need sulfuric acid and a few other things. So this is going to be sulfuric acid, alumina solution, and aluminum casings. Yield batteries and water as an excess. It's not bad. And it's made in a blender, which I think, wow, it's made in a blender, is the first time we need to use a blender. So that's cool. And sulfuric acid, I assume, and I'm correct to assume as such, sulfur plus water. Super simple, not a big deal, and it makes sulfuric acid. Alternately, I think we can package it and then unpackage it, but that's not obviously what we're going to do. Now, if we wanted to, we could, because we have a sulfur mine, right? I don't know if there's water over there, but we could totally, like, package it and then unpackage it, or we could just, you know, run a pipeline over. But knowing that we need alumina solution to make the batteries, which is right here already, and it's going to spit out a little bit of water, I don't know how that maths up with all our perfection that we've got over here, right? Because it needs a very small amount of alumina solution. Let's look real quick at the blender. And I'm just going to take a peek at the battery recipe. So we're going to need 40 alumina solution per minute, and we're going to get back 30 water, right? Let's compare that to this guy, which needs 360 and 180. So this is 50%, so we get 50% as much water back as we do alumina solution. And over here, we're going to get, like, almost 50%, but not quite. We're going to get slightly more water back than we would from this, which is a bummer because it means eventually we'll back stuff on water. A bummer indeed. We're going to have to figure that out one way or another. We probably will. Tricky. So let's just check out the drone port UI. So transportation, drone ports, right? So they look very similar to truck stations, which is kind of cool. But they have, like, in terms of they have the inputs and outputs, right? So we've got items going in, we've got items coming out. No power. The amount of batteries required by a single drone per round trip. The battery throughput required to meet the round-trip requirements for a single drone. The time it takes for a drone to travel from this port to the connected port and back. The amount of power the drone port is currently consuming. And then there's a battery slot. That's interesting. Look at this, man. Drone port, this port. All right, wow. No port selected, destination port, all ports. This is neat. This is a UI, let me tell you. Relevant ports. Interesting. Outgoing and incoming. Incoming transfer rate, outgoing transfer rate. This is pretty neat. This is really quite cool. going to tap you into some power somewhere. Just so you've got some juice. Right? So, apparently, yeah, we're going to need batteries for sure. So if I were to have a drone port here, and I'm just going to totally spitball this, right? I'm just going to totally wing this. I'm just curious, right? And let's say we had one here. Okay. And we connected him to power, just for fun. Okay. And this port was connected to drone port 1. And this one was connected to drone port 2, right? So 1 connects to this one, and this one connects to that one, right? Yeah. 2 goes to 1, and 1 goes to 2. 1 goes to 2, and 2 goes to 1. Cool. We need 5 batteries per round trip for a single drone. Okay. Now, if I were to build that over here, right, I want to see how many batteries it needs, right? Like, what's the difference? Because that's a really short distance if we're thinking about it, right? Like, really short. And do the batteries get used up? Like, are they single-use batteries and they get destroyed when they're done? Or do they get charged up? Like, how does that work? I have no idea, right? We're going to have to figure that out. So drone port here, for example, if we were connecting this guy to power, and we said this port goes to port 1, and port 1 goes to this port, then we will need also 5 batteries per round trip. Okay. Well, that's not terrible. Okay. So we don't have any information here yet, but we'll figure that out. So I guess our next main task then will be to create batteries. So we want to automate batteries, then we're going to set up the drones to fly back and forth between these 2 locations. And I think drones are more intended for long distance travel, obviously, right? Like, this is a pretty short distance, but at the same time, I want to understand how they work so I can be prepared to use them, you know, in the future. All right, so I've just dismantled all the stuff that's here. What I'm thinking is this. Let's wrap up the episode here because we're pretty much at a good wrapping up point. I don't want to start on the battery production line, though what I could do real fast, what I could do real quick, maybe, is just take a peek to see if there's any water over by our sulfur. Because my suspicion is I'm going to have to run a sulfur line over to here, right? But I'm not 100% sure, but we'll figure it out. Now, maybe the water that I need to make the sulfur with will be sufficient to balance out the water. We'll have to figure it out, right? I'm gonna have to like math out like consumption and usage. But long story short, we're gonna have to figure out how to do this in an intelligible way and not negatively impact our aluminum and water lines, because we don't want to backstuff water anywhere, because that will, you know, clog up the works. So how we're gonna do that, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll have like a separate pump dedicated. That might be the smart way to do it. I think so, because we don't want to clog anything up. So we're gonna have to figure that out. So is there any water near here? I'm assuming. Is this water? Might be. Is it deep enough water? Yeah, there's even a Mercer sphere here. Cool. Is this deep enough, you think, for a pump? A water extractor, dude? It doesn't seem to be. Resource is not deep enough. So that may not work. Anyway, let's wrap up the episode here. We'll come back next time and figure this out. For now, Double 20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.